Hi, Steve. It's a pleasure to be on your show, and thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast. And I hope we're going to add value to the LinkedIn community by the end of it. And that's my agenda for today as well. So I'll just briefly introduce myself. I basically run a specialist data consultancy called Anum and in simple terms, I help business leaders, make decisions help business leaders who stop making decisions in the dark. So what I do is that I basically integrate data that is in silos, in different spreadsheets, coming from this different systems. So I build the entire pipeline. I then build, intelligent systems like reports and Power BI that can give decisions to the leaders on the go.
Hmm.
So this is basically what I am doing currently. But before this, I was working basically at a largest fertilizer producer company in my country. And I was working there in the data space for about 8 years. I was there as a data analyst as well. But after some time, I decided to open my own consultancy as I believe that, working with different industries would have greatly, helped me grown into a better data analyst.
Hmm.
So one reason for transitioning into my own consultancy was this, and the second was that I am a mom of two kids. So I wanted some flexibility as well, and unfortunately, my company could not give me work from home. So this is one reason that flexibility was a huge factor why I, transitioned myself into a consultancy.
Wow, that is very impressive. That is very impressive. I
Yeah,
also have three kids, uh,
yeah,
but again, it's very interesting how you can now, with the help of, I'm guessing, AI, right? Obviously your brain, but AI to combine multiple sources or outputs or inputs of the information and help CEOs and founders of other smaller. I know you work with mid-sized businesses, smaller businesses,
yeah,
maybe a little bit larger businesses, and I saw on your LinkedIn profile that you have many clients in Europe, right? In North America.
yeah,
How?
yeah. Most of yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead. No, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
like,
most of my
how did you
major
got to
clients.
this?
Yeah, so basically, I launched my career from Upwork, and I set up my profile over there, and that's where from my project started to roll in. I already came from a background of experience, and from there I started building clients, and then I slowly transitioned to LinkedIn as well. So based on that, now I'm getting clients from Europe, UK, US, and like I have clients from Netherlands, Germany. So, basically, my expertise in mainly are in two tools, which is like Power BI and Microsoft Fabric. So that is where I build these data pipelines and I build the dashboards on top of it, and that's where I'm also implementing AI in my work. So
Mm.
yeah,
Well, this is very impressive. Like, besides the point that AI is everywhere, but not everybody uses it, right? And you were
yeah,
able to, I'm sure so you shown other younger ladies or in your country and other countries across the street, across the street. The whole world is like a street already. Uh,
yeah,
it's very impressive that you were able to take your situation where you were not able to work from home and
yeah,
you had to take care of the kids and you just took this information and you opened your own company. This is very impressive,
yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, I would say that maybe I think I do believe in the power of manifestation as well. As in, when
Oh,
I had my first child, I started visualizing that, I want the flexibility to work from home, but I was also very ambitious and I wanted to grow in my career as well. So, yeah, I think when you focus on something, universe does play the role to make you get it. So, I do believe in that power a lot.
interesting, interesting. On my last podcast, I had somebody from Nigeria, and it was also very interesting to see that anywhere in the world right now, everybody's talking about AI, AI
Yeah,
automation, AI advancements. AI is changing things, right? And you were able to take AI and create something brand new. You created your own company and
yeah.
you helping other people, other companies now with the help, with the AI. What is, in your opinion, as an expert in the field, what do you think is the biggest pain point right now for these small to mid-sized businesses? How to handle all this I don't want to say just innovation because it's already been here for a while, but how to use this new technology with your help and to automate and save money, save time, and be more efficient. What is the main pain point for the businesses right now?
One of the main pain points that I usually encounter when I'm working with mid-sized companies, my major clients are usually the mid-sized businesses. And that is usually when, when the CEOs or the leadership come up to me. I think like data is usually in silos. Like the sales team is maintaining their own data, the finance team is maintaining their own data, the production team is maintaining their own data. So sometimes I see there's a lot of data discrepancy between the teams, and because of that a lot of time is wasted during the reconciliation process, like because they're quoting different stats, they're quoting different stats. So one thing I believe that businesses are lacking is the integration of data, having centralized systems where all the data is maintained. And the other is like not having proper documentation of data. Like, I'll just give you a brief example. Like, I was working with an insurance company from the US, and the thing is that 3 years back, somebody designed a system for that, and they wanted to transition the old reporting system into a new reporting system.
Mm-hmm.
But the downside of that was that, unfortunately, the person who were involved at that time, they did not do any kind of documentation, like what was the pre-logics that they defined during making those reports. So when they hired me, they asked me to, design. Our first task was to design the financial side of the data, like the profit and loss, the direct expenses, and all things. So a lot of our time was spent matching the revenue numbers. They just couldn't match. And the problem was that the way the logic was implemented at the reporting, at the old reporting, nobody had the visibility. So I had to go deep into the data, debug it, and I come of experience of 10 years. So maybe I was able to figure that out. So I think lack of documentation is also one thing that people are lacking, like small business owners are lacking. So this is where they need attention as well.
That is a great point. That is a great point.
Yeah.
But for me, I work in a big company. I don't know what mid-size means. What, 5, 6,000 people in a company? What is the definition of mid-size?
Mid-size are like 500 to, yeah, 2000, like,
That's yeah, because our company
yeah,
is like 30,000 plus. But even in a
yeah,
bigger company, there is sometimes exactly what you're
yeah.
saying, that one team uses maybe certain types of programs, the other ones uh, different types of programs. And we had in one of the shows, we had this question: when do you think the AI will be able to integrate automatically? Like you give him, okay, here's the data set from this team, this is data set for this team. Like you were able to go and identify how to break it down or how to combine the
Yeah.
information to come up to the right, logical solution to that. But would AI be able to do that without human interference?
Steve, to be honest, like right now, I think this is the gap that I, as a data expert, can fill in. I think this is something where AI is lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we need to upskill ourselves, because I think, frankly, the way you can understand a business and the way you implement your years of experience, and when you take over a certain company, the kind of questioning that you need to ask, this is where I think AI will always lack. I mean, it can build systems, it can automate processes, but the logical thinking, like, where the errors might be, where are the exceptions, and where the issues can arise from. So that is the part where I am training myself to grow, and this is where usually I give my expertise to the companies. The other part, like, it can write the code in within seconds, and it can do it can insert Excel formulas just by simple prompting. So that is where I think I've transitioned myself, and this is what I tell most of the people who are from my field, that you can never get replaced if you keep upskilling yourself. You need to be at the top of AI, and this is something I think will always require human intervention, because this is something that you can always figure out when you're going to have those meetings with the clients, when you're going to ask them the right questions, when you're going to intrigue them to think this way. Okay, maybe this could be the problem. So this is something I believe that where our importance is. So I think that AI is not that smart enough right now, at least, to take over this part of our job.
Yeah, this was interesting point you bring in. Well, you already brought up two interesting points. Right? One is we can't really trust it yet, but we need to learn it and to go with it. In which one, I would ask you, where would you suggest people go learn it? But another one, like as a person who's starting to learn these things from experts like yourself, I come across few times already. You know, I have ChatGPT. Claude. I tried Claude. It's I don't know. It's just for me. It's too smart. It gives answering code, and I was like, ChatGPT. I feel it's easier. I don't know if I'm not using the proper prompts, maybe, since I'm still
Yeah,
learning. But there's been many
yeah,
cases when I would do some kind of research or prompts, and it will give me the answer, but it's not correct answer. Like I would just double check by Googling and doing another
yeah,
research. I was like, hey, listen, this is I don't think it's right. And the ChatGPT will
yeah,
come back, oh, you're absolutely right. It's not like
yeah.
how can
That's
we
true.
how can we
Yeah,
trust at this stage of this evolution of AI, right? It is an evolution. I know it's coming and it's already here. But how can we trust the answers, especially when it comes to like a healthcare industry? I know in finance, you make a mistake, you could always fix it when you don't want to have a mistake, but you could always fix it. But in healthcare, if AI is looking at your results and saying, "Oh, you have to take this medicine," but can you really trust it to not make mistake? Because then AI is come
no.
back, "Oh yeah, you're absolutely right," and it could be damage done already, right? So how can we trust AI in this? So the first part of question, the second part of question, where would you recommend people go learn about AI?
Hmm. As far as trusting AI is concerned, I think I believe that a lot of companies, maybe smaller ones, or I don't know, mid-sized companies. I mean, I've been reading a lot about it. That who have completely trusted on an AI, a lot of things are firing back. To be honest, because
Mm-hmm.
this is where I think we're going wrong. We cannot completely trust AI because AI is still like is a computer. It still has the potential to make mistakes. This is where your expertise will come in, and this is what I think that I can never be a good financial analyst. Like I cannot just switch to being a financial analyst because a person who has worked in that particular field for about 10 years, his way of looking at data or his way of looking at things will obviously be way different than what how I am going to look.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like trusting AI completely, I think, is something I believe we should never do. And I think the experts should stay in their own fields. Like if I'm an expert of data, I should grow in my own field rather than switching to a medical field, rather than switching to a financial field. You'll always be ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, I think this is where a lot of people are panicking also that, maybe we need to go to the AI development part. I think the best way is that you stay in your old field. You upskill yourself. It's like you're earning a master's degree in your own field through a different perspective now. So because if a financial, like you're a financial person, right? So maybe
Mm-hmm.
you can quickly identify, okay, this is an error then AI is giving. I will not be able to identify that because that's where your years of experience is going to make you stand out from the crowd immediately. But again, if you're not going to use AI in your work, so obviously you will be left behind because you'll be wasting a lot of time that AI can do quickly. So incorporating AI is extremely important, but depending totally on it and thinking is going to give you accuracy, that is where I think we're going to make mistakes. So my take on that is that.
That's a great point. And if you were to
Yeah.
want to learn and to upscale yourself, where would you suggest the best place for people to go uh, to learn it? Like, would you recommend a LinkedIn platform, the Google, the Microsoft? So many of them now offer even free courses, right? There's AWS, so many different ones. Where would you
Yeah.
say for you, and maybe you would recommend for those listening, what is the best way to go and all of them?
I would say, like, to be honest, it's very. I believe there's a lot of bombardment of content from all areas of the areas. So it's very hard to catch up. Like which. So I believe like stay on one platform wherever you're comfortable. Like for me, I have confidence in Claude, and I do like 90% of my work on Claude. Earlier,
Okay.
I was on ChatGPT. I did some work on Gemini as well, but I think over some time, I have a lot of confidence in Claude. So I just focus on Claude. I've started going into ChatGPT and Gemini because I think that also wastes a lot of your time when you're multitasking, switching between lots of tools. So I think just Claude and maybe any YouTube tutorial that you like. I mean, that you think that you follow of your own field. Like, for example, I have data experts in my own field who have started using AI. So I follow their tutorials.
Hmm.
So I think YouTube is a great way to learn information on your own field, but I would just recommend everybody to stay in your own lane And that is how you're eventually going to grow, rather than switching the main lane, because you have years of experience of financial finance, right? I cannot overtake that, like, no
Yeah.
matter what. So you need to identify, and this is something that every expert can only identify, like, where, how can I use AI in my own work and, upskill myself. So this is my recommendation to everybody, to just stay in your field and just,
Mhm.
upgrade yourself using AI.
That is an excellent advice. That's great advice.
Yeah.
But before you also mentioned college degree, master's degree, bachelor degree. Like I had this conversation with my sister Kate, who has the she's the founder of Data Cated
Yeah.
company, right? And she has
Yeah.
two
And she,
little
she has
kids.
a huge company. I saw her on LinkedIn. She's doing a great job.
Yeah, I'm learning from her too, even though she's
Yeah,
younger,
yeah,
a lot younger.
yeah.
But and I was asking her, I was like, listen, we had this question about the college degree. I have two kids already out of college. One is still younger, still in the middle school. And I was like, what do you think? Would you send your kids to college? Like, would you recommend? Because when we uh, well, I moved to New York like 30 years ago, and it was everybody's like, okay, you study, you have to study, you have, if you're not gonna study, you're gonna have fall behind. It's all about college, college, college. Which of course I went to college, got a bachelor degree. She has a degree, and I was telling her, would you push your kids to go to college? And she's like, no, there's no need
Yeah.
anymore because of it's all these advancements. And for you, right, the question, like, you have kids, would you push them for college or not? Like, like the first my two kids, they already done this college, but I was like, would I push this third one? Because in probably in 8 years she would need to go to college. I was like, do we even need it at this point?
Mm.
Like, unless
I
it's a
absolutely
doctor, then you really need it. But if it's like other things,
No, I absolutely agree with your sister, and you'll be surprised that I'm almost like homeschooling my kids, to be honest.
oh
I did
really? Wow.
enroll them. Yeah, I did enroll them in a traditional school, and but I also thought all of this, that what is the point of bombarding them with so much content when it's never gonna get them handy. I mean, it's just a waste of their brain space, to be honest. So the way I'm now teaching my kids, like my 8 years old, he's working in he's basically enrolled in a very non-traditional setup, that right now he's just doing the basics, like the English and the maths, like obviously understanding English, reading, and writing is always going to be relevant. But I think a lot of content that we've been taught in our schools, in our colleges, is all going to be outdated, and I think we need to utilize that time making them learn skills. I think rather than teaching my kid history, I would rather ask him to go and do a Canva course. That might even come more handy rather than teaching him history, because that is something he can get just with one prompt. Why do you have to memorize those facts? Why do you have to waste those time? So I absolutely believe that after, I think in the next 5 years, degrees are going to become very relevant. I think they're going to be short degrees, like instead of going through 4 years of university, I think it's going to be a year of university where you're going to be bombarded with specialized skills, and rather than giving you a large variety of subjects. So I absolutely second your sister, and this is what my goals for my kids are as well.
I'm not totally against my sister. Just saying, I'm just saying her take on it because she's in this
No,
field
I
for
think
for
you're going to
herself.
agree with her in some few years.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's exactly. Yeah, I've been in corporate world for like 25 years between this company. Before that, it was another company. So I'm kind of old school, stay in one, in
Yeah,
your lane kind of thing. But I do believe we need to expand it. And it's an excellent point that you could actually learn it within a year. All these 4 year
yeah,
types of,
yeah,
if you specialize, right? Because there's a lot of this information, exactly to your point. When we used to go to college a long time ago, right? If you need information, you have to go to the library, you have to
yeah,
find the article, you have to find it, write it, memorize it. Now there's no need. You got between
no,
Google and Chat and Claude and all these other platforms, you could get information about anything. Look,
yeah,
thanks to
absolutely.
this information, to the technology, we're talking like we're in the same building, but we're like how many thousands of miles away, right? So this is amazing,
Yeah,
this advancement.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is
exactly.
very good information on this. What
Yeah,
about people in your country, the younger generation right now? Because it's young generation is the key to our own survival, like in the future, because they get technology so much better than us. Like in this case,
yeah,
my youngest, they're born, they already know how to set up the profile and everything in the phone.
yeah.
It's so advanced. Are young kids in your country also feel like, is it the same movement towards AI, same as North America, Europe, like all these other
No,
countries?
yeah, there's a lot of like movement in Pakistan as well. And I was reading the statistics the other day, like about 85% professionals use AI in their work somehow the other, like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. Uh, Definitely, there is a gap of implementing AI in the business processes. This is where the market in my country is emerging. But there is a lot of work being going on. Like in 2025, national AI policy was launched by our government, and then there's a lot of digitization going on in our country, and then there's a lot of investment going on in developing data centers in IT parks. So there's a lot of like boom. Obviously, countries like US and UK and Europe are ahead of my country, but again, like there's a lot of talk about AI, and especially people who are even younger than me, they're more like, I think they're more aware of it, and they're more into it. So there's a lot of boom in my country as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. This
Yeah.
is so much good information. That's why I love talking to people, because
Yeah.
just to read a course or look at the videos or YouTube, it's nice, but then you don't get this the human factor or the
Yeah.
human feedback, which is excellent.
This is something AI cannot take.
Cannot take 100%, 100%. So
Yeah.
just to finish up the show, we a little bit over. Well, usually the whole idea was initially like 5 minute show, maybe 10 minute show. Like I think a little more
Yeah.
than that, but because it's so easy to
No, no,
talk
I'm
to.
absolutely enjoying your questions, and it's
Uh,
great
Thank you,
having
thank you.
being on the show.
So to conclude, where would people in this case learn, like would follow you, learn about your expertise, maybe all those mid-sized businesses who need help and all the CEOs where they could reach out and say, listen, we need help, we need to combine information and make it better and save time and save money and all this information, and you're the expert in it. I know you have a
Yeah.
LinkedIn platform. Where else do people can learn about you?
I have a website called Anum Analytics as well, and they can get to know about me there as well. I have my portfolio pieces over there as well. And apart from this, I'm also a top rated plus freelancer or Upwork as well. I, with 100% job success score over there. So I have a very good portfolio on Upwork as well. So a lot of people reach me, hire me directly from Upwork because it's easier, it's all integrated, the payments are secure. So a lot of people hire me from there, and apart from this, they can directly reach me out in the DMs through LinkedIn. So I would love to help businesses solve their business challenges, automate their processes, and help them integrate data. And this definitely can save a lot of money, and I have like optimized processes more than 30 to 40%. I saved $40,000 a year for an FMCG company because they were wasting a lot of time on manual work, and that when ours was automated, the data was properly cleaned. So they did invested those time into some other processes. So I've worked around like for more than 100 plus clients across the globe, working around 6 countries. So yeah.
This is very impressive. Very
Yeah.
impressive. Listen, if you don't mind, just the final, I can't can't stop the show. Listen,
No, no, no,
as
go on.
you,
I'm also enjoying.
I'm sure you are a role model, especially in your country where maybe technology not as advanced as other places, not everywhere. Maybe the internet is not. Although, like we had even issue with last week, right? Because in Nigeria, I guess they have some internet spot out, so it's a couple of times they actually stopped the show. We had to wait for 15 minutes for the host, no, I was host, for the guests to reconnect. What would be your message to not only the youth of your country, like how to advance themselves and prepare themselves for the new workforce, like in a new way, and also for the young ladies who may also have kids, and because even in America, it's not as easy for a young lady who have kids to open your own company, which my sister did the same thing, right? That's why I admire people. It's not easy to be a mom. As I said,
Mm.
I can relate. I have
Yeah.
3 kids, right? My wife also,
Yeah. Takes a
but
lot of
it's a lot of
yeah.
work, and you're
Yeah.
able to make it work, and you are an expert, right? And you have your own company and you're helping other companies, which is win, 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 win on all fronts. What would be your message to other people who would want to be like you, who would want to open their own company, maybe become expert in same or different fields, right? But using AI. but
Yeah.
where you are.
Yeah, my message would be that never stop learning, and hard work is something that's always going to reward you. I strongly believe that although I know it is very challenging, especially if you put in my shoes, that after a mom, because no matter what, the primary caretaker is always going to be the mom. My husband is a very hands-on father as well, but at the end of the day, I think the kind of energy the kids require from a mom is something that they don't require the same from a dad.
Yes.
So um so I mean, I still believe that I could have grown more, but if you ask me, I'm still not at that level where I could have gone. But still, thankful to God for being at this position where maybe a lot of, unfortunately, women have to leave their career after having kids. So I would just say that never stop believing in yourself, and whatever time of the day you have, even just 1 hour, so just make use of it. And I think consistency tops everything. This is one thing I've learned, that maybe your journey might be slower than somebody who's giving in 3 hours, but you will eventually land there if you are consistent. So I would say, like, even just 30 minutes. Sometimes I think you can take out 20 minutes when your kids are sleeping, taking a nap or stuff like this. So whatever time of the day you have, and this is what I did as well. When my kids were smaller, I used to give less time, less, and then eventually I expanded it. Now my younger one is almost 4, so I think she is also now becoming independent. So now I have bigger goals. So
Mm.
I would say, like, just don't stop completely. And now we live in the era where we can do anything from working from home. Now we're not just chained to the offices. Like earlier, there was no option rather than having a 9 to 5. So I
Mhm.
think now we are lucky also that we are also in an era where we have a lot of options. So I think just use that, just keep in touch with whatever is happening in the world, or just start learning anything, like one tool. So consistency will take you eventually there. Your journey might be a little slower than somebody who's giving in more hours, but you will eventually reach there. So this is my message to everybody who is struggling or who think it's impossible. So nothing is impossible. Just focus and put in some work. You will eventually land there.
That is an excellent, excellent message to finish the show. Wow, this is excellent. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining. And I really
Yeah.
hope people will look at this video and they will take some, not something, they're going to take a lot out of it. But the final message is obviously don't give up, don't stop
Yeah.
learning, even if it's
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
As long as you're
Absolutely.
consistent, you'll get to where you
Yeah.
need to go. That is an
Yeah,
excellent.
absolutely, absolutely.
It's been a
I think
pleasure.
showing up is the main is the only differentiator that have helped people go on the top. I don't believe in born geniuses. There are very few, I think, exceptions. I think the only thing that have made people to go on the top is that they believed in themselves and they showed up every day. So I think consistency tops everything.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100%. Oh, it's Anam, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I'll post it shortly, and thank you so much again to joining. And I hope maybe we'll work together too one day. Maybe I'll open a mid-sized company and reach out to you for
Yeah.
help.
No, no, sure. Thank you so
Right?
much, Steve. It was a lovely chat session. I really enjoyed, and it's
Yeah.
also great learning for me, connecting with people all across the globe, and getting to know how things are. And I was having a look at the Zoom meetings you had with other people, so it's really interesting, like how you're taking on board different people from different countries. So I think it's good for the LinkedIn community as well, and
Appreciate that.
sharing all those.
Appreciate that.